Well, let me show you what happened when the world protected ancient sites under the watchful eye of the UN. Do you remember before September 11th, the Taliban destroyed 2 giant Buddhas carved into the hillside almost 2,000 years ago. Islam in Afghanistan was doing their best to erase any trace of pre-Islamic history. They spent days demolishing them, attacking them with rockets and tank shells. The UN did nothing but watch. You can lie to yourself all you want if it helps you sleep at night, but it will not change the facts. Cordoba was named in Spain to mark the crushing of Christianity in Spain. The Blue Mosque in Istanbul, formerly Constantinople, Constantine, that started Christianity, was changed to make the statement that Christianity in Turkey is over. The Dome of the Rock was a symbol. Judaism is over, and Christians take note. Here in New York, the Cordoba Mosque is not a coincidence. But you would have to ignore history if you want to believe that. But that seems to be the advice of both our president here and the possible new president of Egypt. Quote, "The view that Hamas is a terrorist organization is a view that pertains to a minority of countries, not a majority. Being a terrorist is not a stigma forever. In other words, forget history." Well, gosh, it seems to me that there are a lot of people trying to make our history into us being an oppressor. Are we not supposed to learn from others' history? Even if you don't like Israel, you must stand with them. Why? Because I believe the greatest power we have towards freedom is faith, and a symbol of our faith is about to be lost. Radicals have already attacked the money symbol, the power symbol with the Pentagon, and the next, although not a literal target, is our symbols of faith, Jerusalem. And as for that glorious revolution in Egypt, you know, the one the president wants others to emulate, how's that working out for other members of other faiths? How about the Christians? These are pictures of churches under attack in Egypt. Some have been burned and bombed. There's an account from one Christian church leader, quote, "They performed evening prayer 200 meters from the church, and after they finished, they started shouting, 'We want you to leave.' They were shouting, 'Islamia, Islamia, Islamia, with our souls and blood we sacrifice ourselves for the crescent.'" In Syria, Easter was canceled this year. Christians are now being threatened to either join in the protests or leave. America, the honest among us have to ask a few questions of ourselves and then demand answers from our ruling bodies. Why are the Palestinians forming a government with Hamas and Fatah, and why doesn't it matter? Why are the banks in the Middle East already on the go in the green light to form a new Palestinian state? There was a story, do I have the paper? This is a paper I read on the airplane this morning. Here's a newspaper from Israel. Look at this headline: "Israel must present two-state plan or prepare for violence," J Street warns. J Street, do you remember J Street? That's the one that said they don't take any George Soros money, and then somebody hacked into their computers and found out that they do take George Soros money. And then they said it was only a small amount, and that would it turn out to be like 60% of their budget? Why are they warning? What's that? Why is Turkey currently having a defense fair with Russia? Why, when the world is saying no to nuclear power, it's too dangerous in Japan and Germany and America? Is the world cool with Iran continuing their plans and Russia helping them? Do you remember when I said that there would be a caliphate and one of the elitist tweed jacket wearing, pipe smoking snobs, the elite, chortled and they said, "Lovely, that's silly. Sunnis and Shias will never get along. Glenn Beck doesn't even know." Really? Read today's newspaper, will you? The relationships with the Sunnis and the Shias are continuing to thaw. Why? Why has the Gaza flotilla been delayed now until June 20th? What is that all about? Here's why I'm telling you all of these things. Because I believe an elaborate game is being played for the freedom of the world. And for me, all of it leads to September and Jerusalem. Israel and America, we are one and the same to the enemy. The day is coming, America, where each of us will be forced to choose. Where do you stand? I suggest that you and your neighbors do your homework and choose with your eyes wide open because things are going to look very different soon, because a game is being played and the freedom of the world is at stake. Back in a minute. The President of the United States has given a forceful speech on immigration while visiting Texas, the state where they asked for help from the federal government. After they were declared a disaster area, they needed some more federal funds so they could help fight the wildfires that have scorched 2.2 million acres in Texas. So you have some concept that's roughly the size of Rhode Island and Delaware combined. But that wasn't worth the president's even returning a phone call to Texas. And in completely unrelated news, last month, President Obama sent specially equipped cargo planes to help battle wildfires. Not in Texas, but in northern Mexico. The Mexican government picked up the phone, and President Obama took that phone call. So let's see. Let's not help Texas, but let's help Mexico. Well, let's see how much he cares about stopping illegal immigration. Mexican authorities, by the way, announced today that they have unearthed 8 more bodies from the mass graves, bringing the total to 188. Also this week, in a separate incident, suspected drug hitmen dumped 6 headless bodies outside of a school in northern Mexico. The middle-aged school kids were about to put on a Mother's Day show when the headless bodies were dumped. Mr. President, we have a problem on our southern border. And if you would like to have a dialogue, here is what we would like. 1. Mr. President, secure our border. I'm sorry, I feel redundant. I said this during the Bush administration, too. Secure our border. Support our border agents. Enforce U.S. law. And 4, make legal immigration easier for those who want to come in and be an American. The fence the president claimed was, quoting, basically complete in his speech, is not even mostly complete. It's actually 5% complete. Mr. President, do you need a refresher on math? Even the law mandating the fence be built only called for 670 miles of fencing in the first place, along a 2,000-mile border. The border, sir, is not secure. It is porous. Don't just post the border agents on the border, please. Support them. Rather than sending $1.4 billion to Mexico and Central America, as Bush did, use it on our side of the border and help our agents. 37,000 people have been murdered across the border, just across the border, in just the last couple of years. Will the violence reasonably stay on that side of the border forever? The answer is no. What do you say? We allow our National Guard to put bullets in their gun and use them if necessary. I want to be very careful. Use the guns that are loaded, if necessary. Think of it as not a kill order, but a capture order might be good. By enforcing our law, we stop enabling illegal alien activity, and that includes cracking down on U.S. businesses that refuse to comply. And making the illegal immigration system easier, I'm sorry to hurt Cass Sunstein's job and make less red tape, but it is hateful, isn't it, to encourage legal immigration while discouraging illegal immigration? Mr. President, it sounds almost like Republicans want to stock alligators in moats, which is, by the way, what he said in his speech. Legal immigration enhances our nation. Illegal immigration tears it apart. But it seems to me that there are those people in our country that want to tear us apart. You'll have to make your own best guess at why, but I will show you an example next. I had a chance to compose a special message when I was in Jerusalem this weekend. I composed it while I was in the Garden Tomb at the end of my trip. It's one of the most sacred sites in Jerusalem. It is there now, available at glennbeck.com. I invite you to check it out and join us for a journey over the next couple of months that will take you to places that you will only imagine. I invite you to be a part of history firsthand. Go to glennbeck.com now and get more information.